Hello.
How are you?
Good, good. Yeah.
I want to welcome you to Kate's Kitchen Party, and today we are set up in the beautiful Brockville Public Library, and I would love a chance to allow you to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Lyric Rogers. I'm a local performer around the area. So I write originals. Mostly I play a lot of the solo acoustic scene and stuff like that. And then I also play in a duo called One to Another.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were in a duo. That's cool.
Yeah.
So the first time I saw you play, it was actually at one of the markets downtown, Brockville, and you were playing, and my husband and I were very into the music scene here, the local Brockville music scene, and we stopped and we listened to you, and we were both kind of blown away by you, and we had no frame of no scope at all of the stuff that you've been through in your life, and how old are you now?
I just turned 18.
Just turned 18.
Yeah.
And you have lived you've experienced more challenges than most 18-year-olds. And I was listening to some of your lyrics when you were singing in it. You handle some pretty heavy, some pretty deep stuff. How do you, I guess, if you're comfortable, do you want to share some of that experience?
Yeah, treatment would be a bigger one for sure. Growing up, I was 15 around the time I was sick. I was working a couple of jobs at that point. I had just started to take music pretty seriously. I had quit one of the jobs that I was working. I was trying to transfer out of it and start doing music full time, and it was going really well. And anyway, around that time, I was working out pretty regularly. I was running pretty much every morning, 5-10 kilometers and stuff like that. I was lifting 4 times a week, pretty overall healthy lifestyle and stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember starting to get gradually pretty sick over a month until I was completely bedridden and I hadn't eaten in a week or so.
Yeah.
And I suspected cancer for some reason. It was it was something that felt very clear to me. I don't know, I kind of knew what it was, which was very strange. And then we got called to CHEO, and Mom just said they think that something's wrong. They said that you got to pack a bag and that you'll be staying. And I said, okay. And I knew what it was, so I just
Kinda
packed
knew.
up and left. So
That's I find it fascinating that you just kind of had an inkling and that you were were you expecting that, in a way? Or I guess you're never really expecting that?
not initially,
Yeah.
but when I was really sick, I felt like I was really properly dying at the end, which is probably an accurate description.
Yeah.
Then I would say that I expected it then.
Yeah, and that's very, that feeling and that sentiment is very clear in your songwriting too, eh? I can't remember what the lyric was when I was listening to you, but it's the first song that you sang for us, or that you will be singing for us, I guess, at the end of this episode.
Yeah,
the
Mason.
The Mason, that's it. Yeah, it deals with some pretty real stuff,
For sure.
right? So how did music, I take it music probably helped you through the whole process of from the time you were diagnosed and having to deal with all that. I take it that songwriting and music were a big part of your treatment and recovery.
Yeah, well, it's always been a big part of my life, especially. And I was a very active person before I went into treatment. I ran a lot. I did action sports. I could do a backflip on the ground and stuff.
Yeah.
I was riding motorcycles and mountain biking and doing flips and running and swimming and stuff like that. And then, a lot of the things that I cared to do were gone and that, were pretty much never going to come back. But I still had music throughout that time.
Yeah.
And I was isolated, so especially during COVID and cancer patients in general, you don't see anybody while you're in the cancer ward. So I was in there for off and on for about a year or so, where I got a couple messages from friends. When I initially got sick, everybody wanted to reach out, and then very shortly afterwards, nobody was there for about a year or so. And throughout that time, I remember writing, and that's how I wrote my EP here, Code Blue. All of those songs that I'm going to be playing for you were written in the hospital. A lot of the time I couldn't play guitar throughout that or whatever. It was just the lyrics or the ideas that I was thinking about. So
Yeah, so you think about during the pandemic, we saw a lot, I saw a lot on the news about long-term care homes and hospitals being shut down and stuff. And it's, I think it was in our minds a lot, just thinking about people who were not well, who were more isolated. But I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody about that experience. And it's I'm happy that at the very least you had that time to pour into writing, right? In a weird way, in a really twisted way. It was an opportunity for you to really like just be with yourself, and to dive deep into kind of what you were going through and what your experiences were. And I think it's given you, like what I hear in your music is a maturity that you don't often hear in 18-year-old music.
I have a line that basically says I've grown so old to be so young, and it was kind of referring to my experiences and stuff like that. So that was in Time and Again. But I find generally like something special about art, music, any type of like expression or art is that generally when somebody's going through something horrible like sickness or grief or depression, mental illness, addiction, anything like that, nothing good ever comes out of it. It's just destruction and stuff like that. The only thing that ever comes out of that that's beneficial or helpful or anything is when people create art with it. And I think that's why like troubled artists are so glorified a lot of the time, because they tend to be the people who really channel that, and then
And it's relatable.
Yeah,
it's relatable.
that too.
I may not relate to having to go through that kind of diagnosis or recovery or anything, but I can relate to, I've lost people who have had cancer. I can relate to pain. I can relate to loneliness. I think everybody can relate to that. And I when you have that kind of music, it's in a sense tortured, right? But it's beautiful. There is beauty in it. There is a message in there, and I think that your writing is really kind of beyond. It's just beyond your years. I think because of your experience,
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about kind of what you're looking forward to doing. You've got these 3 songs that you're going to be releasing and recording. And what is your plan? Like, what do you want? What do you want with your music? What would your ideal be?
Well, when I was writing them, I honestly didn't have an idea of anybody else seeing them. I really thought, I wasn't even entirely sure that I would survive throughout that point or whatever. It was just sort of something that I did throughout that time to kill the time, or like a temperament or whatever. But now I kind of like to imagine that the message is that you're not alone throughout that, because there are people who struggle with a lot of those things, and there's nobody who's a teenager who has any concept of what isolation or chronic pain or even like the slightest idea of any of those things are. But there are other sick people out there, and there are a lot of teenagers with leukemia and stuff like that, and there may not be any media currently to represent that, and it's a very small minority, but I hope that after these songs are out, especially with the help of Make-A-Wish, that's been huge. They can maybe get some type of publicity to reach these people. I mean, through Make-A-Wish, it's reaching pretty much the exact target demographic that is the people that I would like to see this.
So tell me about the Make-A-Wish experience. What was that like for you? What did they do?
Oh, it was really cool. I was just talking to them mostly about wanting to sort of get back what I lost throughout that time with music. Like, I feel like some of my skills and stuff like that are behind. My marketing really sucks. I do it all on my own and stuff, and I'm still, 18, brain damage, on a bunch of painkillers. It's not very business-like, so I really wanted to work on them with, like, a lot of different stuff to try and improve my music career, and Taylor was the one I worked with throughout it. She was one of the biggest people that helped me, as well as Renee and her partner, Wade. But Taylor pretty much took everything I said and like ran with it. Like, I saw a social media marketer, like a digital marketer. I worked with him. That was really good. I got like a bunch of photography done. Wade's making me a website as well that's professionally done. I spoke with a couple pretty well-to-do like musicians and stuff. Like, I played with Texas King, which was really fun. I met with Mo Berg to ask him a couple questions about the industry. Biggest thing I did was record with Jay Hodgkinson. Yeah.
Cool.
So he was incredible. He's very unorthodox the way he records, and the other thing is that for as accomplished as he is, he doesn't like to be in the limelight. So he's very hard to find when I was doing research on him and stuff like that. But he's been Emmy nominated a couple of times for the work that he does. So he recorded the EP with me, and then we're also doing album art for it and working out like a release and stuff like that. Like Make-A-Wish has done loads and loads of stuff. Yeah.
So it seems that they're really acting as like a support structure for you, where they're introducing you to kind of like the right people who can guide you and teach you and help you move forward in your music career.
Yeah, which is more than I could have asked for that. Like, I really didn't think that they would put that much thought into it, but it's like, what are the connections we have to basically give this kid a boost in the industry?
Yeah.
I feel like that's the... Anyway, it was just amazing.
Absolutely.